Notts County Talk, it is playoff week. We've got 3 big videos planned for you this week. The first of which we're delighted to be joined by Adam Chicksen. Adam, how are you doing?
Yes, very well, thank you. Happy with obviously the result over the weekend. So yeah, really happy.
Yeah. We were just saying, weren't you? You wish you could have seen the fans in fancy in person, but yeah, it was a good day. We got drenched. It was good.
No, I would have loved to have seen that, to be honest. Yeah.
This is our third in-depth episode. We've had Dion Kelly-Evans at the start of the season. We had Ruben just before Christmas. And to be honest, Adam, out of everyone we could have had, I think you were probably most in demand. We do every Thursday, we do a podcast. Yeah. Every Thursday night, 7:30, we go live. And I know there's one fan. We have Callum that joins us. And at the end of every episode, we do a score prediction. Yeah. So we'll have one this Thursday for Grimsby, and fans send their score predictions in. I don't know if you can see a theme going on here, but I've got some of Callum's predictions for the season. He's been on every single week. We've done 43 episodes. I'll read you some of his score predictions out. So early in the season, we had Notts 3, Dover 0, Chicksen hat-trick. We had Notts 4, Wrexham 1, Chicksen hat-trick and Wootton.
Wow, yeah.
We had Yeovil 1, Notts 4, Aaron the Man and Chicksen hat-trick.
Wow, this is good trend. It's a good trend. I'm on fire at the minute. Keep going.
This is every week without fail, and I'll just read another one. Kings Lynn 0, Notts 3, Chicksen hat-trick.
Oh wow! So I've scored probably over 40 already. Then I'm miles ahead of everyone else.
You'd be in triple figures if it was him. So he's going to
okay, wicked. Yeah,
honestly, you do this guy. We'll get started then, George. Haven't we? We've got some 10 quickfire questions like we do with every guest. So we'll kick off.
I'll be off then for the quick fire. First one, sweet or savoury?
Savoury.
Nice. Second one, what's the favourite ground you've ever played at in your career?
White Hart Lane, I think. Yeah, it was. It's the old style of feeling over you and imposing, and it was a great occasion for me.
Good stuff. Do you have a favourite holiday destination?
Yes, America is my favorite destination just because I went there when I was young, so it gave me a lot of good memories. Yeah,
I think Ruben said Ibiza, didn't he, George, when he was on?
It doesn't surprise me. No.
Number 4 then, who do you support?
Being deadly honest, I would probably follow football more than support a team now, just because I got brought up following United, but I wouldn't say it was justified as in it was my hometown, because Milton Keynes didn't have a hometown at the time. So it was sort of followed it. But then the older you get, you just follow. I love following the whole sport rather than following one team.
Yeah,
it's been a good season for football this season. Most used app on your phone?
Most used app on my phone, probably galleries, and that sounds sad because I'm always looking at pictures of my kids or something funny that they've done on it. But I love my kids, so seeing that, going through them doing funny stuff, etc., either looking funny or being funny, it makes me laugh a lot. So I try to be on my phone as less as possible because I'm either chasing kids. And then I'm looking at kids on my phone as well. So it's kind of like, it's the give and the take. I'm always looking after them, and then I'm always looking at the funny stuff we've done over the day with it. So, and then other than that, I'm either tidying or putting them to bed. So,
fair enough. Do you have any pre-match rituals?
Yes. If there's a lot. But I wouldn't call them rituals. It would be preparation for a game. And if I didn't do them, I wouldn't feel prepared at all. And there's a lot of it.
Have you ever forgotten one and it's like played on your mind?
No, I wouldn't say I've forgotten one. I would say I have a lot of standards that I keep to my, and Kim's probably, my wife is probably totally different on the view of that. She probably thinks they are rituals and they are superstitions and everything like that. But I feel like if I don't do them, it doesn't allow me to perform to my best ability. But it's probably when you have Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Monday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever when there's a build up of games, it's hard to keep all those standards or rituals, if you want to call them, to a front. So, but you always have them to go back to, if you know what I mean. Because then, if a performance doesn't go your way, which it doesn't sometimes, you know where somewhere you might have not done something that you can pick up on to be like, okay, I'll drop down here. Let's get that back up to the standard that I require myself to then hopefully perform better for the next game.
Fair enough.
Cool. Do you have any pets?
I have two cats. Which they've taken a back seat since I've had two kids. So they're kind of, they get looked after well, don't get me wrong, but they've gone a bit feral and not as much looked after since the two kids. I haven't got as much time to be around them as much.
Yeah,
Tom has a cat, and it's nearly made an appearance.
Yeah, trying to let myself in when I'm doing these videos.
Okay, yes, yeah, no, they would definitely be out of this room if when I'm on this, because they would probably be doing the same, and I'd probably want to just, they'd be walking across the laptop for sure. So yeah.
Who's your closest friend at Notts, or closest friends in the team?
It would probably it would be Richard Brindley. I mean, I'm sure the lads would know that we're always on the same room on away trips. If I happened to somehow be with someone else on a away trip, I'd end up knocking on his room if he would put by himself and saying, "No, this isn't how it goes down. You know, we're together as roommates." So we spend a lot of time together, and he's been there for me, obviously, for personal reasons that happened in this season, which has happened. He's been there for me a lot. So he's been a great friend for me at this club, and it's nice to have, because, and there's a lot of people at this club, majority of the whole team feels like a family with me. So I could say Richard Brindley, but a lot of these guys here, mean a lot to me. So that's why, I could say so many, but obviously Richard's one of the closer ones.
Yeah. Was it your 300th career appearance recently? Was that?
Yes, 300 career appearance. Yeah. Obviously I got mentioned in the week about the 300th, which I didn't actually know was coming up or even took note of, just because I think I've said in the pre-match press, it was I've been around the likes of players along my career, of who I've been at, is Bruno Saltor, Michael Doyle, Dean Lewin. These guys have reached heights of 600-700 appearances. And for me, I only feel like it's a job half done, and I don't feel like I'm anywhere near to what I've been around or seen the achievements of really great people push their limits to the. So for me, it's not about counting, the games. And as I said, it was really nice to have that video and to know that I reached the milestone of 300. But for me, I'm nowhere near, and I've said it before, I'm nowhere near to where I want to be. Even hitting 30 to where I want to get to, and where I've got the aims and ambitions in my mind.
Yeah, I remember I was saying that because when that video came out, I remember Brindley specifically, I think Rawlinson, they shared it on their Twitter with some really nice words about you being a solid member of the team. So
no, they were kind words, and they obviously, as I said, they meant a lot to me for reasons. Obviously, I did lose my dad earlier in this season, which was really hard to take. But as I said, these guys are like family to me. They helped me through a difficult period this season. But that's why their words, and obviously why I relay I'm nothing without the team. That all those kind of messages is only what they give back to me, is just as much as I try and give back to them, either by how I act around them or on the pitch. So the words were lovely and I appreciate it, but the way I give back to everyone else is by leading them or pushing them or trying to get promotion for the club.
Yeah, I think you can feel that togetherness in the squad, can't you? Definitely.
Yeah.
As a Notts fan as well, it's great to hear stuff like that, like the players having a real tight bond,
it is good, and that atmosphere, and obviously I haven't had promotion in my career, but I've been so close so many times, and a lot of the teams have that connection on some level, whether it would be through something that's happened or just through the team morale throughout the team of how their connections are made. So I know that we've got that here, and it's a special bond that we have here, and we hopefully we can achieve something that's going to be special that will connect us for life, really.
Yeah. Bro, I'll go on to the next question. What are your hobbies outside of football?
Hobbies are, well, the hobbies have changed since it's changed, and I sound boring because it's more, I'm either taking my kids swimming or to Paw Patrol World, and then I'm getting excited by seeing them or doing the stuff on the days of the stuff we go to. But that's the when you have kids, that's the world I love now. And before it might have been roller coasters to to movies, to etc. But when it changes, and I like to be heavily involved with my kids, and that's what it entails now. So I enjoy all that side of it. I still would love to go on roller coaster. When there's a chance, I probably will. For my 30th, I got a driving experience, which I'll hopefully do, off season, not in season. I definitely wouldn't try that in season, but driving buggies, segways, to that sort of stuff that will gets your heart pumping.
Yeah,
the stuff I like to do. Yeah, to feel alive a bit. It's good to do.
Yeah, sounds good. And the final question: who is the best teammate you've ever played with? Now, that doesn't necessarily have to be skill wise. It could be how hard they train. Who would you say? Say it is. If you can't narrow it down to one, give a couple of names.
It would probably be. I think there's just by seeing a change was Lewis Dunk at Brighton, just because there was I could see the quality that he possessed, and then obviously after I left, I saw it unfold, and I saw him become a leader, and then get to the heights of England debut, etc.
Yeah.
There's probably many players that I've played with which I have so much admiration for, and etc. Like Michael, all these people that have reached those heights are just as important, because to do that it takes so much sacrifice, and I know how much hard work goes into that. But as you say, the question is which one, performance-wise, obviously he was a special player, and he reminded me of the new era of defenders, the stepping out, the calmness, the big guys, the ball playing centre half, and then to get a chance at England at the highest level was great to sort of play with and be around, and then know that he did that.
Yeah, he's a great player. He really is a good defender.
Right, we're on to the next section now, which is questions that we've come up with and that fans have sent into us. I'll strike it off. How did you get into football?
I got into football through my brother, and that's what probably actually helped me a lot, because I used to follow him like a shadow everywhere, being older, and there was always a ball to be played. So I was probably against double my height and double my size, but it was always fun because my legs moved super fast that it always felt like they never could actually get there to be able to push me and stuff. So it felt quite fun, because I felt, even at probably younger, that I could run somewhat rings around them, which maybe frustrated them, but it was always that was always fun playing with my brother, and just learning off older, because they're wiser and older and already ahead of you at a young age. You have to learn quickly, or otherwise you'll just be. It's not that you won't have fun, or you won't enjoy playing with them as in a normal environment, but you have to get up to their standard, otherwise you're just gonna look silly. So there's that same thing as you're having fun and everything, but you still need to try your hardest to try and compete with older lads around you.
Yeah, in terms of players when you were growing up, is there any that you looked up to and thought, yeah, I really want to be like that?
Yeah, no, there was the same old Ashley Cole. It was that change of era when the fullbacks were becoming so much more dynamic and athletic. Of Daniel Alves and Marcelo, you were coming through, seeing the change of at the perfect time for me, really, because it was like I was smaller, thinner, Probably not the build of a left-sided centre half that they used to be. That they used to put there. And it was the perfect time to try and learn and take on board what the new way that the game was going at the time. So those guys stood out for me to be able to watch and admire and learn from.
Yeah. I don't know. They're players that you'll say their name sort of 20, 30 years and everyone will remember, like your Marcelo's, Dani Alves. So yeah, makes a lot of sense. We had Dion on right at the start of the season, and we sort of said to him, "How do you motivate yourself to play?" And his response was, and you can see it in his game, can't you, George? His response was that he played as if
I love watching Dion play. Watching and play. Sometimes I find myself watching him while I'm playing. Love him playing the way he's playing. Like, it's so passionate, it's so aggressive.
He's amazing.
It's everything he does on the shirt. So I mean, I tell him every day. I go in every day and I'm telling him, Dion, you're the main man for me. I love watching you play. And he's like, no, but I love watching him play. He gets me so. We bounce off each other in training, and when we do play together, like I love Dion, man. Dion's a cool guy.
Is he like that in training with his challenges as well?
He's like that everywhere. He's like that aggressive. He's that aggressive when he walks in the morning. He's that's Dion. Like Dion, the way you see him is what you get with him. That's why I love Dion. Dion, that is Dion, and he could tackle you in the change room if he could. Like, that's the way he is. If the ball rolled in there, if someone just threw a ball across the change room, he would just come sliding through, and he would probably enjoy it as well. So no, everyone knows that is his game, and he loves that game. But that's what makes him, obviously, helps us in our team, because you need players like that.
He gets the fans up as well, definitely. So we said to him sort of how do you motivate yourself, and he said he plays as if the winger up against him is trying to take his contract off him, and he's not going to let him be a better player. And you can see that in his game. From what we see with you, it's a calm persona on the pitch. How do you motivate yourself for game in, game out, like you said, when there's Saturday, Tuesday every week?
Yeah, no, the motivation, I try and think of it as a cookie jar, and I try and take all the lessons I've learned over my career, and also all the times that, like last season, not losing to Torquay, or this season, like being beat by Torquay in the manner that we did, and a game that I underperformed in. I use those to make sure, like I said to you beforehand, the standards I set up from Monday to Friday, if I have an underperformance like I did in that game, I revert back to everything I do from Monday to Friday and know, did I give everything that I normally give or normally do to the highest point of my ability from Monday to Friday? And if I did, I can walk off the pitch knowing I gave everything on that day. So for me to get up for a game, it's knowing that I cover every aspect from Monday to Friday, knowing that I can give back to the fans and myself mainly, that I haven't missed an area to perform. So whether that be stretching for an hour every evening and doing the ice bath after, or whether that be eating right, or choosing not to go see my friends because I need to sleep more, I make sure I give 100% and make those decisions, especially after the heartbreak of last season. I made sure every decision I was going to make is aimed to the weekend or to the game. So then I can know that I'm always prepared. And when I step over the line, there's nothing else to think of. I just have to perform. There's no worry. I don't worry about the game. I don't worry about who we're playing against. I don't worry about the result, because I know if I've taken care of the rest of it throughout the week, there's nothing else to do. So if we lose, well, then we lose, because I know I've pushed the lads the hardest as I could. I know I've tried the hardest I could in that week. And if it comes out with a great performance, then great. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. So that's it's very hard. It's very hard to keep up all those standards, but that's the ones I hold myself to, because I have dropped them over the past in my career, but it won't happen again. And that's why you're hopefully seeing the best version of me, but the best version I want to give to this club and want to keep giving to this club, because they gave back to me. the second chance that I needed last season, but also through a very difficult period in my life, losing my dad, they were all there to support me. So if I don't hold myself accountable for all the standards of that I do, then for me, when I walk over the line, if I don't give 100%, I'm letting the people down that show so much faith into me, and the fans down who have been great to me this season and last season. So that, in a nutshell, is obviously a part of my life, but insight. But it's very, very, it's very hard to do all that stuff. So that's that's how I get ready for games.
Yeah, like you say, it must be incredibly hard to keep it up, but I guess you see the rewards from it, definitely. George, we'll go to our first fans question, and this is you for this one.
Yeah, Curtis Large from Facebook asks, "What's your connection to Zimbabwe, and how did you feel about your first call up?"
My connection to Zimbabwe was obviously my dad's from there, and his grandma and his granddad is from there, so it's from my dad's side of the family. And the first call up was it was special because it opens your eyes up to a different way of life. I haven't been over there since I was younger, so when I went over there, more mature, with kids, with a different outlook on life, you see so much poverty. You also see kids walking around barefoot. You just see different. You appreciate everything you have at home, and you think you're just going over to play football, but then you find yourself in a totally different world, in a totally different comfort zones that you've ever been in. And for me, that was a great experience to go and feel and go and probably tell my son about when he's older, and show that, whether you've got the nice stuff, whether you haven't got the nice stuff, to see a different way of living, and they can still be happy, and they're still really happy just to see you come out there. I mean, I don't think I'm anyone special or anything like that, but when they see me and all those little kids are chanting your name, and you've only just been out there once, and they're so happy, it's such an eye opener to myself, and just made me grow so much from it. So I couldn't have been happier to have got that opportunity.
Yeah, like I say, it's an opportunity that most footballers, 99% of footballers, won't get. So yeah, it must have been pretty special. But I've got to
apart from getting torn up by Riyad Mahrez. That's the only thing I did. I thought he might have gone there. So that went viral as well. But I'd like to say if it happened again, it's happened to better people than me, so I can go on. Ask your question. I was
going to say, how was it playing against him? Because it must have been ridiculous. I mean, they had other players on the pitch that day. I think they had Ben Rama playing and other
they did,
players.
Yeah.
But
it was brilliant. So like, you always want to play. You always want to test yourself against the best. And then for the majority of the game, I thought I had him in my back pocket. But then I didn't play in the first game, and I saw him do nothing for the whole game, jink past 3 people and chip the keeper, and then do nothing for a little bit, and then do a moment of brilliance, which makes the guy world class. And I understood that. So I knew I had to be on my game, which I was for the majority of it. But then you find yourself a long diagonal ball, isolated 1v1, and then it feels like you're in your own little world for about 2 hours with him trying to defend. And then he does his moments of brilliance and scores. But you get to see that side of brilliance in game, which is so hard to describe, because you think you're in control of a situation, then he manipulates you, and then you think you've got control back because you've got an arm on him, and then he manipulates the way he moves again. And to see it probably world class at first hand was something that I wouldn't, even though it didn't go my way on the day, it was something that I won't forget for probably the rest of my life.
He's so ridiculously good with both feet as well, which makes
that's the problem. I thought I had him covered on his left, took it on his right, and then puts it in with his right. So he has so many possibilities of what way he's going to, etc., etc. That's why he's at the top club, obviously.
Yeah, class player. What are the major differences between like club football and international football?
It's very tactical to the sense of, and also it's down to those world-class players. It's all tactical to put those guys on, to get them their moments in certain types of game to win you the game. I found that was when I have been out there, it's getting those, because obviously every international team is probably going to have one or two very, very good players or world-class players or etc. So you're going to have, every team has a match winner, but out there they're the high end of the spectrum. So they're trying to nullify those guys to the best of their ability, and then the flip side of that is they're trying to get them to do their moments of brilliance to just take the game, because they are always tight. It doesn't matter whether it's Zimbabwe playing Brazil, etc. They're always tight games because it's set out. You have so much time to prepare, and it's set out like that. It's set out to combat, like in any game, but to combat it, and you're trying to stop the world-class players stop doing what they're doing. So that's what I found is that you're trying to stop people do their magic in the little bits of brilliance that they have.
There was a 2-2 draw in one of the games, wasn't there?
Yeah, which we needed to. The game that we needed to was to qualify for the African Cup of Nations, which we did get the draw in that game.
That's a big result against Algeria, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a big result. Yeah, so that we needed that at the time. So it was a great result and a good trip in all.
Yeah. Moving back then to playing for Notts, how much have you enjoyed this season, Notts' play style? From a fan's point of view, I think obviously myself and George, we're constantly talking about Notts all the time. I don't think we've seen a more enjoyable season in terms of play style than this. So how much?
Yeah, I mean, I've been brought up on that style, and obviously you come across different styles the longer you're in football. But obviously, when a style comes to the club that you're at that suits you, it's so enjoyable because it's so natural. So you can just take the new approach on board, but know that you have been built through your whole childhood, through academy, etc. on that. So it's nice to know and to play in, because if you look at how we've played this season, it's so dynamic. It requires so much, but then you get to see so much good play throughout a season rather than just snippets if it's not built. And you've got to give the credit to the staff here, because to build that over the course of a season and a quarter, I'd say season and a quarter, obviously the manager's been in and the staff, to build that over that amount of time given is something that you do applaud, because it isn't easy to do and to get across that quickly. And then for you guys to see it on the weekend or in the 90 minutes, that's what I loved the fans are seeing, because you get to enjoy the best, my view, the best type of football of a beautiful game being played.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch. And a lot of these questions from fans came in. This one came in multiple times. So George, you want to go with this one?
Yeah, this is from Jordan on Twitter. It says, do you prefer playing left back, left wing back, or left centre back?
Yeah. Even centre back. I played centre back this season as well. No, but I've been asked this before as well, and I don't know if it's the older I get or the more I get about what's best for the team. That really doesn't matter to me anymore, and it doesn't matter because like I've said to you, I apply myself the same. So it doesn't. I'm trying to help these group of lads perform to their best ability and get to their heights that I know they can get to and their potential. So I put all my actions, which is best for the team and this club, so that it doesn't matter where I'm playing. It matters more on where we're going to get to. So if you put me there, it has no effect on what I'm trying to either push in the game or drive in the game with the players around me, or the ambitions that I have, because I don't take my ego into it. I don't. If you move me around, I'm not going to be sulking there because we've got a game to win, and that's what's best for the team. I'm not going to sulk if you move me centre half, because again, I'm so focused on talking, communicating, trying to get us to win and get what the lads deserve, that it's irrelevant where I play.
I think I remember that it might have been the first game. It was last season, I believe. Wrexham at home, because I know we weren't in the ground, and I think you were placed either that left centre back or in the centre back. And it's the first time as Notts fans had seen you play there. So obviously we were unsure. We thought you were coming in as like a fullback. I remember after about 5 minutes, we knew, didn't we, George? We knew we'd be all right with you at that position. So yeah, it's been interesting to see, because some games we have played that back three with you and Brindley, who originally we thought were two fullbacks. So,
yeah. That's the great thing about obviously this manager, how he sees his players. He doesn't, he requires you to learn all the positions. So I'm sure if someone else had to fill in there, they would learn. They would know what's required of them, and you would be shocked by probably how much they knew. Like if Ruben had to, or etc. had to fill in there, they would know how to play there, because we need to learn each other's roles in this team to make sure that if that does happen, or even just the knowledge-wise or positioning-wise, we know where we need to be and communicate with each other where each other need to be. So I think it's great for the lads to be able to have to learn other positions, or we rotate, or we move into other positions. Because I think personally, the more positions you play, the better your knowledge is on the pitch, and the better you can help other players while you're playing to play that position, or you might know where they need to be. So I always think it's important to play different positions, even if you're younger or growing up. It's important to do that. But as I said, for me personally, at this point in my career, the positioning doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Next question is from Archie. I think Dion might have struggled with this question a little bit, but if you can remember, who is the toughest player you faced this season? So this season, I know it would have been Mahrez all in all, but
yeah, no, it was. It would have been this season was Torquay away. Because I think the striker's name
Danny Wright.
Yes, and that was only because I knew their game plan. I knew their game plan was not going to change from last season. They're going to hit diags, etc. And in that team, I knew they were going to hit it onto me anyway. But for that day, as I said, there's no excuse that I underperformed. But on that day, he performed better, and he was very tough. And the way they hit balls perfectly, which made diags perfectly, which made my job harder to obviously implement my game onto. He implemented his game better onto me that day, which made it very difficult on the flip side to take him the other way and make his day, what I like to do, make his day hard. So overall over the season, I haven't had many that have done it to me, but he was probably the one, and why I use him to make me do the rest of the stuff and then push harder after that. So I use him now and Torquay as a motivation to make sure that I remember him being the toughest player to play against.
He's a big player as well, isn't he? Like physically.
Yeah, he's a big player. Yeah, and obviously in this league, I know I'm going to come up majority of the time against that, and I know how to. I need to be smart enough to know how to manage that. But on that day, he hands off to him. He was very good at what he did, and that is how they play. But I'd like to think, if we come up against each other again, it'd be a totally different story.
Yeah, I hope so. George, I'm going to give you Will's question.
Yeah, okay.
So Will's a regular on the channel. He's got a few catchphrases. He likened Kyle Roberts to Gareth Bale once, and
Joe was back from Maidenhead yesterday as well.
Yeah, did he? Yeah. Okay.
I'll give you this one. He said we had to include it.
if you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Well, I might have to meet this Will because like if you ask me about food, it's like one of my favorite topics. I could talk about food all day. So
Yeah, so can
it
Will.
might. Yeah, I bet we'd get on great then. No, I think my favorite meal would be probably either marinated chicken wings with chicken satay on a bed of lettuce rice with some pomegranate and some sticky rice.
Yeah. I think that sounds good. To be fair, I think you will get on with him. We were driving on to away days. I think it was Stockport away. The car was quiet, and he just says something random like, "Go on then, what's your top 5 takeaways?" And he just talk about it for an hour.
Yeah,
he's good to have. He's going to keep the combo flowing, isn't he?
Yeah, it's
Or he's going to make you want to just open the windows and just air him out.
Turn the radio up.
He's funny.
Yeah.
He's funny. So we've sort of looked at your time at international duty, brought it back to Notts in general this season. Obviously, we're this time next week, if I got that right, will be second half.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
against Grimsby. Can't wait for it. Counting down the days. Tickets already sorted. On the whole, how would you assess Notts' season? Because I think it was right at the start of the season. Myself and George, we went to the fans forum, and it was said at the fans forum we're looking to win the league. Obviously, that didn't happen. But how would you assess Notts' season as a whole?
As a whole, it's going to be, for me, it's going to be decided on, and this is if you're asking me from a player's point of view, it's going to be decided in the next 3 weeks how I view the season. And that's going to be taken care of, obviously, by the players. But obviously, if you're asking me from a spectator's point of view, because I do think it's different, the two views. I think it has to go down as a very enjoyable to a very, and as you say, you can hear that from what you said yourself. You've enjoyed seeing football, and I know that I've been a part of that, and we've given special moments to people over the course of a season. You're going to have special memories from seeing, and most of those have been at our ground, which has been the best thing about it. We've been able to showcase it at our ground with our fans, showcasing the type of football that's, as I said, you may talk about. It may be talked about in history if we can go and take it the next step and take it that last bit over the line. You can marry the two together and know that we've produced great football, but we've also got the promotion along with it. So you can put it down as a success spectator-wise, but I personally only would call it success once we get promoted. So the season as a whole has been great. It's been amazing to be a part of, and as you say, it's football that you probably wouldn't see at this level. You probably won't see at this level for a long time. You know, the generic way and the way people think you can get out of this league is only the way that a lot of teams play, which is untrue. Because yes, it may be a way, but I'm sure this team, when we eventually get promoted, it will showcase it can be done a different way, and it can be done a way that the fans and the club can be proud of.
Yeah.
You briefly sort of talked about like a bit of a step up in quality. I think if we'd have we finished 12 points higher than we did last season. So last season, on the same point tally that we are this season, would have been 2 points off top. So if you look at it like that, it's a different perspective. But
yeah, the standard has been high. The standard has been high, obviously.
Did you feel that massively though? Like, did you feel like there was a massive step, or was it?
I did feel like the standard. Obviously, are you talking about the league in the whole, or the league in the whole? Yeah, no, you definitely felt that, and you hear that with when there's money obviously being involved with other clubs, as in you're being able to have bigger budgets, etc. It's always going to raise the quality because they're going after better players. or going higher to try and pull better players in. So you're always going to pull in a better level overall anyway, if you start doing that. And obviously the teams, etc., at the top of the table, obviously we know who they are. They've done that, and that's going to obviously pull up the level and make you try and get to levels of what's being brought in. So yes, the level's gone up. You felt it go up, but then if anything, it asks you the question: Are you able to get up to the standard that's being brought in? Which obviously, as you say, we've got more points in, so it's shown that we've stepped up to the challenge.
Yeah, definitely. We had this question written down, but I pretty much know the answer from what you said earlier and looking at your mentality. We said we've got Grimsby at home. We've got the home tie, which is obviously massively important, I think, to the fans massively, and I hope it is the players. Did it really bother you who we got in the playoffs?
No, it didn't bother me personally. I know it's going to be different because it doesn't bother me, but because I know we can beat all these teams on our day. So it's whether we can apply ourselves and we can leave no corners cut on the day or on the build up. So for me, it doesn't matter whether we're playing Stockport, Wrexham, I mean, beforehand, whoever it was ever going to be, if we show up on our day at home, we can blow any team away. So I just need to make sure, and we need to make sure, that we focus on the steps that we need to take, and no corners are being cut, no areas are not being overlooked, because then I know we can beat any team. So for me, I was never bothered about what team we got. I'm more worried about whether we as a group of lads can make sure we do everything from now until that first game of the playoffs to make sure we're prepared, and we can make sure that the club and the fans are proud of us.
Yeah, definitely. We've got one final question then, and it's a fan question, and George will read this out in a second, but again, from what you've said, I can kind of gauge it, but it's the final question we've got for you.
Reese from Instagram asks, how's the spirit in the squad ahead of the playoffs?
Yeah, spirit in the squad is great. Yeah, I think if you look over the last couple of games, I think winning creates that, and not just winning. Obviously, I said that togetherness is a massive part, but winning brings spirit. Winning brings a level of focus that you're capable of winning games. So over the last 5-6 games, you've seen us win. And you've seen us play very well as well. So it gives us the motivation and the togetherness to go into this full of confidence.
Yeah,
I'm gonna shot one more question in there. Final question. You've obviously gave Birchnell quite a bit of praise in this video. Where does he rank in terms of managers that you've been managed by?
I think it's high because I find. It's like I said with the players that I grew up watching. It was like the new era of players at that time. When I see how the gaffer coaches to how the gaffer applies his knowledge and his coaching, it's everything I've been across in the past. It's like the new generation of coaching. I see that, and for me, that's great because it asks so many questions. As in, am I going to be the dinosaur that lives in the past of the coaching and be like, I can't adapt to this new way of coaching or this new way of learning, or am I going to hold myself accountable to be able to be an open book, try and learn, try and be better, and learn the next way, that style and way of coaching and way of learning is going to be? Because if I don't, then I'm going to fall short and I'm going to fall behind the younger lads or the players that come in or the next generation.
Yeah, really interesting. Adam, thank you so much for giving us your time. Really
no problem at all. It's been great coming on. Obviously my first podcast, and I was really excited. I don't have a gift for you. I would have brought something for you in person, or if we did this in person, I'd like to bring gifts, but yeah, next time. But sorry I couldn't bring anything. But yeah,
you can bring us a win on Monday night, hopefully.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. So
yeah, really appreciate it, and I'm sure everyone watching will too. Yeah,
No, I appreciate it. And thank you for having me on.
And if you have enjoyed the video, that is obviously our third and final player interview of the season. We've had Dion Kelly-Evans, Fabio Rodriguez, and Adam Chicksen. If you have enjoyed, please leave a comment and a like to let us know what you think. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.